afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Our World, Our World Power, where your news reflects you and your community. I'm Lady Pauline, and my host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, the Honorable Mayor of Sutton Boulevard. And today I have a special guest, Henry Aurora from Henry's Carrot Cake here in Jamaica, Queens. Welcome, everybody. Can everybody hear me good?
Yeah,
All right. This is very interesting. We're all in little boxes. Tell me, you just asked Glenn a question about um, small businesses. Today's show is about the small businesses that's in Jamaica, Queens, and how they're managing and what's going on. So, can we give some information out?
absolutely. So you want me to go ahead and
Yeah,
work
yeah.
on that information?
Yes, please, Glenn.
Okay. So we'll start locally with SBS. SBS has one program that they just closed and another continuing. Um, it's a business continuation program, and so one just got closed, which was the grant for
Why
the
did
payroll grant,
why did it
and then
get closed?
well, I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure they only had a certain amount of money.
Oh,
So,
okay.
And
was that the one where the money was for paying employees?
right, the payroll uh, employee extension grant. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that was that was a program deadline was Friday. But there's what they call a small business continuity loan fund, and that loan fund is with businesses fewer than 100 employees who have sales decreased 25% or more, and will be eligible to apply for a zero interest loan of up to 75,000 to help ensure businesses are up and running. The business must be located in the five boroughs, demonstrate the outbreak caused at least 25% decrease in revenue, employs 99 employees or fewer in total across all locations, and demonstrate ability to repay the loan. Of course, that's probably the biggest wink wink. Uh, and then have
I
no have no outstanding tax liens or legal judgments. So
know that they're doing some loans where it's called a forgiving loan, which is more like a grant. But for me, the first couple of ones that because I'm a small business owner,
right,
you
right,
know, and there's this illusion that no matter how small the business is, you're loaded. People think that it's all fun and gravy, and the thing is, what they don't understand is small business owners usually take home less than their employees because they're the ones that make ends meet. Now, my issue with this is it's not necessarily an issue to be honest, because everybody's suffering it, but there are certain things. Now, loans, it's all good and fair, but to be honest, I'm very hesitant of taking a loan on top of money that I already owe.
right,
That's number
exactly.
one. And two, whether it's no interest or not, I still have to pay it back. My store shut down completely. And the thing is, I lost merchandise because I'm a food vendor. I sell cakes. And the minute they started shutting things down, the inventory went bad. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
plus there's the future. Can you see me? Something go wrong?
no,
No,
I can
somebody just
see.
came in.
So who
You
came
know?
in?
Okay.
And
So
rent.
I don't know about all these little grants that they're giving. I tried applying for one and I kept getting names of other
Tiffany.
people on the phone, on the form.
Okay.
Um, a disastrous loan, I think they're calling it. A disastrous risk loan or something like that?
Yeah, does that, well, yeah, there are lots of different loans, but the two key ones that I'm going to talk about are the SBS, which is the one that's still open that I just talked about, and then the
Okay.
SBA, the CARES Act, which was the $2 trillion that were lent, that the government just, hey Tiff, and
Hey.
Mercedes is back. Um, also,
Excuse me right now. Tiffany Good just came in from Kids Break Ground, so she's joining the conversation. Um,
Amen.
you
can
also have Mercedes.
and also Mercedes, welcome everybody to our world, our world power. We're talking today about small businesses and how they can survive in this very terrible time. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No, that's fine. And so what I was saying is that there are I'm highlighting under two small business services, which is a New York City specific loan. Well, this one is actually is a loan fund. They just closed the grant fund, but SBA, which is part of the federal government $2 trillion CARES Act that they just passed. Is now being administered by SBA, Small Business Administration. That's the federal government. Um, and they have what they call a paychecks, uh, payroll, payroll protection program, PPP. And all of this information is up on the SBA.gov website. But I'm going to go through a couple of the items around that because this is something that people should know about. They also have a hotline number that I'll give you as well. But
okay.
the Paytech Protection Program, which is again PPP, um, they just authorized about $349 billion in forgivable loans to small businesses to pay their employees during the crisis. So again, this is the federal government.
Okay. Now,
Um,
I wanted to find out also, Glenn, when you say small businesses, what is the characteristics that they must have as far as tax returns? They have to show how
I'm gonna
many
get I'm
employees.
gonna get to as much as that as I
Okay,
can because I
okay,
know it's very detailed. So let me just kind of go through and say what it is so people get a sense of it, and then we can go through. I've got the details in terms of who can apply, how much you can apply for, what is it, what's the forgivable part if you don't use it for this. So it gets pretty specific in terms of what you're able to do, and here's what I'll say the problem with all of this is that this program has changed once since it's been announced. So I would imagine that it's going to continue to change as they figure out or get closer to the actual implementation. And I've got a list of some banks who are also utilizing it because they have to come through the banks. But I'll explain that uh, when we get to that. So okay, and all of this information is available at sba.gov. If you go to that particular website, it's all detailed there, and you look for Paytech Protection Program. There's another program also that is part of that that I'll speak to as well. So anyway, so get back. So so basically, this loan, this Paycheck Protection Loan, is used to cover payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, and utility costs over an 8-week period after the loan is made. And it says it caps uh, payroll costs up to 100,000 of annualized basis, but that's not how much it actually is capped at $10,000. So that's something that they talk about. And this loan payments would be deferred after 6 months if you don't use it for what it's intended. So basically, they're going to give you the money, then you got to prove that it was spent in those particular areas. If it wasn't spent in that, whatever you spent in other areas, you would have to pay back. So that's how they're doing it. So who can apply? That's the question you asked,
Yes, who could
Paul.
apply? Yeah.
All right. Um, it's quite varied. It says all businesses, including not-for-profits, veterans organizations, tribal business concerns, sole proprietorships, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors with 500 or fewer employees can apply. And businesses in certain industries that actually have more than 500 um, employees would may be able to apply depending on the industry that they're in. So basically, this program, and I've also understand that it also hits religious groups as well. So churches and synagogues and houses of worship, temple, mosque can apply for it. Uh,
Glenn, what
yeah.
happens to the real small businesses that say it's under 5 years old?
It doesn't matter because you're going to you've got to show. Well, let me tell you what the requirements are. Basically, um, you've got to show a reduction of 25% of from last year to this year in terms of the impact of the virus. So if you can show that your revenue went down 25% over last year, it doesn't matter if you've been in business 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, but as long as you have the tax returns from 18 and 19 or 19 and 20, you can show the individual pieces.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Before we continue, I'd like to mention the Queen's Chronicle, who we're in partnership with. If anybody would like to advertise on the Queen's Chronicle newspaper, please call her at 718 669 0628. And that this next one is TMI and Partners. Contact Alvin Haley from 917-204-1658. He helps put your business together. And of course, one of my new advertisers, Chocolate Loft, which is on Sutton Boulevard, 113-10 Sutton Boulevard. And matter of fact, he'll be on the show next week to talk about his business. Please come out and support our local businesses. This is a special business I would like to give a shout out to, and that's Helium Image. Contact Mercedes at 718-594-4017. She helps with parties and special events. Her balloons are awesome. So please check her out. Again, her number is 718-594-4017, and she's right here in the heart of Queens. Thank you. And of course, the law firm of Stephen G. James and Associate, attorney at law, attorney at war. You can reach him at 646-905-9000. His address is 8766 Sutton Boulevard here in Queens. And of course, you're speaking with who's right there is Henry's Carrot Cake, who, well, right now his business is closed down right now, but he's in Jamaica Avenue in the 165th Street um, market. So I just wanted to get that out there. And again, just one more time, give out to a shout out to the Queen's Chronicle for working hand in hand with our world media. Thank you all for your support. Okay, let's continue this conversation. Um,
Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit more than I really want to engage the questions with the business owners and find out what they're up to.
okay.
So, so what can the loans be used for? They can use for payroll clause, including benefits, interest on mortgage obligations incurred before February 15th, 2020, rent under lease agreements enforced before February 15th, 2020, and utilities for which services began before February 15th, 2020. What counts as payroll costs? Salary, wages, or tips. Employee benefits, including vacation, rental, family, medical, sick leave allowance, allowance for separation or dismissal, payments required for provisions of group health benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, so as you can see, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of changes. Um, the cap for that particular program is $10,000.
Okay.
So uh, you can you can borrow or up to it. Now, the thing about the payroll, the last thing about that I want to let you know is that it comes through the banks because it's a federal government program. The SBA has banking relationships, and so again, you would go into the documents, but you actually apply through your bank. So the banks that are up and running and actually accepting applications for the program, as I understand it, is Bank of America. A
Okay.
lot of the other banks haven't seen all the paperwork, haven't evaluated the paperwork, and will be coming out with applications in the next couple of days, probably Monday or Tuesday this week. Um, uh, Alma Bank is just currently taking only clients. Bank United, Capital One is not accepting applications yet, but current clients only. Citibank. So if you're a client of these banks that are participating, then you're in good shape. Otherwise, you're going to have to go um, HSBC, current clients only. Wells Fargo is wide open. Ponce de Leon, Ridgewood, um, Savings Bank is open. Spring Bank, Signature Bank, Bank of America I talked about, and TD Bank is not accepting applications until they get more guidance from the feds.
Okay.
So there's monies that are available, there are programs that are available, and the opportunity is as small businesses getting that information.
Um,
Um,
well,
question.
yes, I see some people online. Mercedes, I know you have a wonderful business. I wanted to give you a chance to tell the audience, what is going on with your business since the virus has, stopped a lot of businesses. Uh, are you there, Mercedes?
Totally got to come off mute. You're currently muted.
I'm muted. Okay. Can Tiffany Good hear me?
Yeah, but she's not
Hello?
muted either.
Hi.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Hello?
Tiffany?
No, this is
Oh,
Ree from Queens Chronicle newspaper.
hi,
I just
Ree.
wanted to say it's my first time doing Zoom, so I just wanted to make sure I did it right.
Yes.
So I'm here. When you're ready, just say my name and I'll come back on.
Okay, well, while we have you on, let's talk about how are things happening in Jamaica, Queens. What's going on with the different businesses? Because I know you're right out front with your newspaper.
Yes, it's been bittersweet. I'm not happy to hear about people being sick and confused and upset about the coronavirus. But in a way, from being out in the field, I feel that the closeness of people are coming back. The belief in religion is coming back. And that means so much to me and the community. I've been working on the Living in Rochdale section, which Pauline, you know about. Your
Yes.
ad is in the paper, and Mercedes. and Chocolate Loft and a few others. This was so important because when I went out in the street,
But hold on, Ree. Hold on, Ree.
yes,
If you're not talking, please put yourself on mute. If you're not talking, please put yourself on mute. Go ahead, Ree.
oh, hi, Glenn. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. When this coronavirus broke, I was already in Rochdale Village and surrounding towns to get this special section started because it's our first time doing it. And Clifton Diaz and his staff, amazing people, and we really wanted to make this something really exciting. But like I said, when I was out in the streets, people were nervous. They didn't know what was happening. But after speaking with me, they said, Ree, please make this happen. We need something positive. We need something to look forward to. We want to know the stores and shops who will be available so we could go shopping. And I said, you know what? I went to the CEO of Queens Chronicle, Mark Wilder, an amazing man and very caring about the Queens community because we only do Queens. And he said, if you think you could do it, I will back you. This is a project I wanted to be a part of. And just let me know what I can do to help you while you're doing this.
Now,
And go
now,
ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, Mercedes. Not Mercedes. Ree. Now, what happened to the mall that's in 165th Street? Because Henry Aurora, he has his Henry's carrot cake business, and I know he was telling me things was not good, over there, and so, is that part of the mall closed, or are they still open and people can just walk in and take something and then leave? They cannot sit down.
Well, Henry, from what I understand, is in the Harvest
Food
market.
court. Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So I haven't really heard anything about that because I have been out in the field really in the beginning working for the Rochdale Village section. So I haven't heard anything about that. But from what I know, malls, if they're inside, that was closed down by Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo. No malls are supposed to be open unless it's a strip mall, which is outside.
Okay, all right.
So that's what happened.
Okay, Henry, can you hear me? I can't hear. Can you take your mute off,
There is.
Henry?
Yes.
Yes. I know your business is closed down because of the virus. Are there any other alternatives that you have going on? Because I know you do a lot of baking of carrot cakes and cookies, and you provide a great service to the community here in Queens. How are you? What is your take on what's going on?
You know, I don't know. This virus has managed to create change that's going to be permanent to a certain degree on how we do business, no matter what your size, and that's an acceptable fact. It's something we can't change. Sometimes when a society needs change and you don't do it, nature has a way of making you do it. And I see now that there are certain ways, options. You know, right now my option is, mail, shipping, taking orders and ship. Have people pick up at a specific point. The media now digital plays a big part now of this. Even though I sell food, cakes, I'm looking at the totally different new options on how to look at the business right. Because God forbid I can never open it up. And then, there has to be other options for me to do my trade. So we're looking at that. We're trying to make it work.
Okay.
It's simple as that. Of course, the business, I think I lost 90%. My problem is now getting it back. You see, now you got to try to figure out a way to get it back. But it's not only my business. That's almost every business available. I mean, people are not working. I don't know if the money's there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This has a domino effect throughout almost every aspect of living. So
That's
but I
true.
am looking at different options. Of course, we all complain a little, but it's part of the fabric of what we're in.
Right.
Um,
One of the things that I would suggest for all of the small business owners at some point in time to look at diversifying streams of income, adding in streams of income. For example, in your case, um, are you currently registered as an MWBE, Henry?
only with Port Authority and stuff.
So one of the things that I would recommend is to extend that certification and get an MWBE for city government, and then I would also take a look at the federal um, um, government as well. They've got programs as well that can look at and could possibly create a secondary distribution sent for you so that it's not just at one location. You actually have multiple requests being made of you or orders being put in because the city government, for example, has allocated X amount of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years specifically for MWBEs. And so different city agencies are mandated to use MWBEs, a certain percentage of them. And so again, how often do people buy cakes and buy things for different events? And so again, it's a matter of you might have to bid on some of those, but some of those you may not have to because, as I understand it, 20,000. Anything under 20,000, they don't have to get a bid for it. They can just go out and contract. So there may be some opportunities for you to do cakes or even sponsor up with somebody else who's doing, Mercedes does balloons. So maybe you do events together for the city agencies or something like that. So you create a partnership. So I think that this crisis is going to have us look at businesses different. As you said, we're going to come out of it differently. And we as business people have to now begin to consider other avenues of revenue to diversify our business.
I have another lady on the line, Miss Tiffany Good. I know you have an app that is for children. Can you tell me a little bit about your business?
Yes, hello, good evening. I have a platform that is created for young children. Me and my co-founder Enrich, who is on the call as well, I believe. Um,
Hello.
Hello.
Oh,
hey
hello, hello,
Enrich,
welcome, welcome,
How are
welcome.
you?
you
Okay.
want to explain to them a little bit more about Kids Break Ground?
Yeah, so Kids Break Ground is an ed tech app that helps kids discover what they want to be when they grow up.
Okay.
So it's available on iOS and Google and Android right now.
Okay. So what is the revenue like, and how do you really make money from this app? I know kids are home from school right now, they're bored. This will be a perfect time. Things should be booming. Can you give me a little bit of feedback as how things are going?
Yes. So right now, the way we are making revenue is through the app, is through advertising. So the more downloads we get, the more people playing the app. That's how we make some revenue. Currently, right now, we were, before the virus had struck, we were about to start doing workshops where we was going to generate some revenue there as well. But then after that, now that everyone has to be home, we're just mostly trying to promote it through social media and having more people download it through from there.
Yeah, like another one of our streams of revenue was we were doing subscription models for public, private, and charter schools. And we had a handful of schools that we were conversing with moving forward with, establishing some type of contracts. But as soon as that was going to take off, coronavirus approached New York City, and all schools no longer are teaching children there. They're allowing for homeschooling. So, like Enrich touched on, instead of us, promoting it to schools and workshops right now, we're doing a lot of promoting on social media for parents to know that this platform is around and for them to utilize it with their kids while they're home, since they have a lot more free time and a lot of kids aren't leaving their houses. So the platform is educational, but it's fun at the same time. And our main thing is just introducing young children to as many occupations as possible. So once they're older, they have more of an understanding of what they want to pursue when they're high school and in college.
That's
Let,
wonderful.
let me ask you a quick question. So in those workshops, what was your objective? What were you looking to get customers, I guess?
Yeah,
Yes.
so basically do more like brand recognition, get more kids to download the app, get their parents to know about it, going back to school, let them to talk about it to their classmates. So more like exposure as well.
Because what I'm thinking is, again, business is all about adaptation, and maybe this same platform as Zoom might be a way of doing your meetings so that you're not stymied by that. Of course, you may not get as many people that way, but I would invite you to keep doing your workshops, since that's a part of your business development, and use a platform like Zoom to be able to get people to interact and to at least know about your product and begin to push their social media as well. So just a thought, not, because one of the things that I'm clear about, and we talked about it earlier, this virus is going to have us begin to look at doing business differently. Um, Not sure to what extent that's going to be, but what's being created is a paradigm shift in how we look at socialization, how we look at education, how we look at the workplace, and all of those things are going to be changing. And so we as business people want to be listening for what the opportunities are inside of all of the death and the destruction and the upset and the craziness about staying home and all of that. There's that, and there are opportunities that are now going to be emergent. And so we as business people want to be able to capture how do we catch that wave on the way out of this arena.
Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great feedback. We do appreciate your insight, Glenn.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to, at this point, bring on Mercedes. I know you do decorating with your lovely balloons and for all the different types of affairs. I see you all over Queens. Tell me what's going on with you now.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Good, thanks.
Great, great, great. I'm glad everybody's online. Basically, we're at a standstill right now. But we had a lot of events that were scheduled for this month and last month. As you see, everything has been postponed. So we're just like in a standby moment right now. But I am still working from home. I'm reaching out to my clients, reassuring them that I'm still, in business. I'm looking for new opportunities now. Like everyone has said, we have to look at different resources for our businesses now going forward. So basically that's what I've been working on right now. Where concerning Helium Image, we're looking to branch out in other things that won't be affected in the event that we have another issue like this. because this, I think we got a little complacent, but now I'm on it.
Okay. Now, Glenn, I wanted to say, because I know you deal with business on a 24/7 basis, can the real little people that have started their business can they really survive this, do you think?
Yes,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
I think that business is a conversation. Business is about relationships,
Mhm.
and when you begin to look at what are the relationships that you put in place, um, you know, what can you draw on? Um, we used to have relationships with our bankers, and the bankers used to keep our mortgages. And so that you'd have an emergency or something come up, maybe somebody lost work or somebody got sick. You can go to your banker and say, look, listen, my husband is sick, my wife is sick, we only have one income, for this period of time, what can we do? So you have something to negotiate. You have a conversation to um, to deal with, to negotiate with, and I think that that's part of what we're going to have to go back to
Mhm.
in this day and age. We've come away from that. We've lost some of the personalness of business, and I think it's an opportunity for us to now get back in touch with. It's a relationship. Business is a relationship. It's not about money necessarily. Some people hold it to be money, but
Mhm.
the true creative business people are the ones who are about relationships. Because maybe this joint venture I do with Henry today won't necessarily make me the money, but it'll get me the recognition, and then I'll make money 2 years from now, or a year from now, or so on and so forth. So I have to, I as a businessman have to look at what's the upside. You know, sometimes it's not about money. Sometimes it's about exposure. Sometimes
Mhm.
I will then get to meet the people that I want to meet ultimately to then launch my business to the next level. So there are lots. So as business people, we've got to keep our eye on the ball. We've also got to look at some opportunities around managing our cash flow. Using assets to generate money. Collecting our accounts receivable sooner. Um, Considering factoring for your receivables. I don't know if everybody knows what factoring is, but that's maybe taking a percentage reduction. So you have a company that'll take it off your hands, and you get 60% or 70% on a dollar of what your receivables are. So that you get the money immediately, and you don't have a delay. Um, Offering customer discounts to get them to pay sooner. Um, Liquidate excess inventory. You know, these are just some of the things. And let's face it, the smaller companies are in a better shape
Mhm.
to change and do things differently. So, so the whole idea of a whole distribution network. Well, your McDonald's and your Burger Kings, can't move that nimbly, but the
Mhm.
smaller businesses can. And let's not forget, the smaller businesses produce 50% of the labor in this country. So if something happens to small businesses, then the economy is going to take it on the nose.
I see we have some other people online. Um,
Can I
Miss
just add one thing, if it's okay?
Shuri.
Okay, so I feel Glenn is totally right in what he's saying, but I just wanted to add, from me being out in the field and going to all different towns in Queens, I feel that the communities need to step up and help these small businesses because the small businesses are really stepping up now. For instance, Fillmore's, which is in Fresh Meadows, what he did is he made a general store to help people that were having problems going to supermarkets and not being able to stay on lines. He made it where you could come in or you can call him and he will deliver the items that you need. All you had to do is tell him what you need, what you're running out of, and he was doing that. And he even went one step further. He did a GoFundMe page, and the monies that came in, he took that money and goes and feeds animal shelters, hospitals, fire departments from that money. He makes the meals and goes himself and delivers the food. So when all this is over, I feel that Queens really need to start shopping small business again, because when this coronavirus came, they are there.
Yes.
And we have to support them.
And it's an awful time right now. It's Easter and the Jewish holidays coming up, and I know that a lot of merchandise is just laying there because people are not going into the restaurants and being able to sit down and have a dinner or lunch, whatever. But there has to be other ways to keep businesses going and afloat, in this time.
Well, they are doing takeout and deliveries, a lot of them, and they are doing well by doing that because they're doing specials. So that's how come I'm telling people, make that phone call, find out what your favorite restaurant has a special for, especially for Easter. A lot of them are doing meals from $10 and up, and Passover as well, and Greek Easter is coming up too. So I really believe this is a good time to and if it's not your favorite restaurant, try a different one. It's a good opportunity.
Yes, it is.
So I'm really stressing this to everyone because we can't forget them, because they hire your family.
Right. Most definitely.
When they need jobs.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something here in the Jamaica community. I'll reach out to G's restaurant and see if they're having any kind of special for the Easter holiday, and a few other restaurants that we do business with, as a way of supporting them.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, it's critically important because right now we're talking about cash flows, and
yes.
Anytime you look at any business, there are always low periods where you need more cash than your business is making, and then hopefully in the other periods you've got excess that you carry over into the times when you don't have it, and so it's really important that if you can use any of the grants or loans or forgivable loan grants that are being proposed, that you apply for it. Let me give you this 800 number. This is the SBA question line. So you can call them up and find out how you qualify and what you need to show for qualification. Christopher sent a message in the chat. We have a chat room available, and he asked, "What if you had a loss of business the previous year?" I don't know the answer to that, but if you call 800-659-2955, that's the SBA. I call it kind of like the a hotline for coronavirus assistance. And that's.
May I ask a question? I'm just curious. What is the outlook on these banks for these small businesses in our community that have bad credit?
Well,
these loans?
Again, that was the one line caveat that was included in there. If you can show that you can pay it back. So again, what I know about that is that Black and brown communities are going to be still on the outside of some of those loans, and we as the elected officials and the folks, the community leaders, are going to have to push the banks and our Congress people to make sure that our communities get our fair share. Because historically, you're right. Bad credit is bad credit, and anytime people are looking at grants or loans, um, especially loans, you're going to have a preference,
I mean,
and
if it's a
that comes
grant,
into play.
credit shouldn't have a if it's a grant, logically speaking, you don't pay it back. So,
Right. A
you
grant
know,
grant
credit
you
shouldn't
don't
be
pay
used
back, but
as
the
a
way that
tool.
they're calling this paycheck protection program, it's a loan that quote unquote is forgivable if you adhere to the guidelines. So it's a loan that becomes a grant if you spend it correctly.
Okay. Wow. That's some very interesting information.
Well, yeah.
That's why we're here. Our World Media, our world where your news reflects you and your community. Do we have anybody else on the line, Glenn? Do you see?
That wants to share, that wants to talk about this.
Yes.
Don't know.
No.
We have
Okay.
a 609-278. Would you like to comment?
Okay. Tiffany, good. Are you still there?
Glenn, uh,
Yes.
a question. Have you gotten the numbers at all on how many of our community business people look like they won't be able to open? Is
Well,
there a census on that at all?
I haven't seen that per se. What I can say is that I know just in my district of 5 blocks on both sides of the street, I know of 2 businesses already that have gone out of business,
Ooh.
out of 80. So they're already saying, for rent.
So those places that are, for instance, let's say John Doe opens up spot, then because of the coronavirus had to shutter it. Is he still eligible for any of the grant money? I mean, he took a loss.
I'm not. Well, I'm not sure because part of it is that you have to demonstrate a reduction of at least 25% in revenue. So if you haven't made but can show a loss and the business was operating, and then you're doing even worse this year, um, possibly. But again, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the SBA process. This thing has changed. It's on the second version, and it's going to change again. The second version, it was only announced this week, and they've already made changes to the requirements. And so I suspect that there are going to be more changes. So the best way to do is to call up that 800 number, find out what the latest and greatest is, what are the requirements that you need, and then what's inside the application, because most of it is inside the application. Then the second part of it is that you've now got to figure out if your bank that you're currently doing business with is a SBA associated bank, so that they can give you this particular loan, because you've got to be a SBA bank to be able to grant this loan that's quote unquote some forgivable portions in it.
I noticed that Crystal sent a text saying that I don't know which bank it was, only accepts it if you're a client there.
There's a couple. I read off the list earlier. Let me see if I can hold on, I'll find it for you. Yeah, so the list, I'll give you the list of the ones that are only accepting their current clients. Alma Bank, Capital One, Citibank, HSBC, TD Bank.
Yeah.
The rest, Bank United, Wells Fargo, Ponce de Leon, Ridgewood Saving, Spring Bank, Signature Bank, and Bank of America are accepting people who are not their current clients.
Great. Excuse me, Glenn.
Yes.
I just got an idea from Mr. Henry. Since all of these banks are going to be dealing with people coming in for these loans, I think what you should do is reach out to the bank managers and ask about providing your cakes while the people, it's refreshments while the people are waiting.
Well,
Have them individually in like brownie size, and the banks can buy this from you. That's instant cash right there for you.
it's funny you should say that. He knows that I'm a big donator. Am I right?
Yes.
But that's an excellent idea, of course. Thank you for
Okay,
your suggestion.
you're welcome, but I get my 15% cut.
And I thank you for the idea, but we do this all the time. That's a part of the options that we have on board. The thing is, I'm looking at this, and I know this is maybe coming out of the outside looking in, and maybe it has nothing to do with this, but how is gentrification affecting the closing of these businesses with the virus? Are we going to be able to recoup back from this? No, neighborhood is changing regardless that we're closed.
Well, I'll take a shot at that.
I'm
Not
sorry,
like
it's not a line of question out of line. I just
no. Listen, we're having a discussion here. We're all here to learn. So I mean, that's a great question. What I would say, and from what I know, is that people are already being pushed out because of gentrification. The rents are going up. The supermarket right there off of 94th and Sutphin, the Met had just opened up maybe just less than a year and a half ago, and about 5 or 6 months ago, just before the holidays, the landlord came around and raised the rent so that it was no longer profitable for them to stay there. Now, a lot of landlords feel that because gentrification is coming in, they want it empty so they can get higher rents and of course with commercial spaces, you've got rents, 5, 6, 7 plus
so
years.
decision making on these loans and grants, will they that as a factor to reject the loan? I'm just, will they take the fact of whatever's going on in their community as a factor to reject the grant? To say, well, you know what, you can't, your money's going to be wasted anyway. Or you understand the attitude I'm talking about here.
I don't think the attitude will be that specific. I think it will be a general, credit rating fiasco. I think that's where the hiccups are going to be inside of the credit rating. As small businesses, we've got to do a better job of recording and actually showing how much actual money that we make. I know that some businesses in our community hedge a little bit so that they don't have to pay
that's true.
as many taxes and so on and so forth. But again, when it comes to loans, this could help you. This could have helped you out by showing the amount of income that's coming in. So we've got to be smart about how we do business as well as conduct business.
Can I just add something, if it's okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. What I've been doing when my clients reach out to me and they're asking me this question, I tell them, listen, this is a time to network. If there's a way that you can share a space with someone, if your business complements each other, do it. It helps you save money on rent and expenses, And it brings in more people into your stores and shops because now you got one, two, maybe three different services that work well together. So I feel that you're going to start seeing more of this, like years ago with party stores and restaurants that also had a party room connected with the services. I strongly feel that this is the way to go into the future. Sometimes the past comes back and you just have to modernize it, make sure that the area calls for these services.
Okay.
Some people make a mistake. They go into a neighborhood that their service is not needed because they didn't do their homework.
Correct.
Not to blame them, but you have to do your homework before you start taking your nest egg and putting it into a shop or a store. I tell them, go around and ask the neighborhood. These are going to be the people that are going to come into your store. Ask them, what would you like to see here?
Right.
These are all simple things that you didn't have to go to college for or have someone sit you down for hours. This is all inside of us. It's just that we have to tap in. And now that we're all home, do it. I even mentioned, now that you're home, look back at clients that you had maybe 10 years ago that you forgot about.
Sure.
Reach out to them. It doesn't have to be about money. Just say, hey, you know what? Your name came up. I just want to see, how are you doing? You'd be surprised. By doing that, you got a friend back and someone that can help you with your business and you can help them. And that's what we should be doing now, in my opinion.
Okay, I agree. I want to change the conversation just a little bit to Queens. We basically all live here. What's your take on how is the community doing? How are the senior citizens doing? How the people with mental illness is doing? You know, we talk about business, but there are other populations of people that are suffering, people that are homeless. You know, I worked in the mental health field for over 25 years, so I know that this is a very bad time for clients that have different issues. They used to go to counseling. Now that's being done over the phone, and a lot of things have changed. And I'm just wondering, has anybody heard any feedback as to how they're managing? Henry?
Well, I'm sorry, but I can touch briefly on myself.
Okay.
I'm rather young, and I do at times suffer from anxiety. And you know, it's very good to watch the news, obviously, to be informed. But I feel when I watch it too much, it makes me uneasy knowing the reality of our lives and hearing about how many people are actually losing their lives on a daily basis. And since I am based in Central Queens is the hot spot of where there are the most cases, especially in Elmhurst. I'm in Corona. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
personally don't like going outside, and I'm actually don't like my mother going outside due to the fact that she has, you know, she's over 60, she has asthma, she has other issues that she needs to take seriously. So I feel like me worrying about myself, my family, and my mother just makes me more anxious than I am on a regular basis. I don't
Um,
know if that's most people, but that's my experience.
Well, you know, one thing, Tiffany, I would like to say is even though they keep advising the senior citizens to stay in after a while, because I will admit, I am a senior citizen, and after a while, you just, you know, want to scream, you know. Thank God I do have an upstairs and a downstairs and a terrace. So I have little options to, you know, I can go out and get a little fresh air by standing on the terrace. But not everybody has that type of lifestyle. There are people that live by themselves, that are
Mm-hmm.
alone. They wait for their home attendants to come in to fix a meal for them. And I know, Henry, you're a social worker, and I'm a therapist myself, so I'm always concerned about how community that have these
This is
disadvantages are doing.
well. Here's my thing. A quick little history about me in the last year and a half is that my mortality was questioned a couple of times. You know that. I
Yes.
was very ill. One time resurrection. Um, uh, the way I handle this, the way I tell people who come around me is that life is life. What's amazing about what's happening now is that we should learn from it. We should look at the things we take for granted and the things we hold important, are not as important as you thought they were. And to spend every day thinking about it is a waste of energy. Take that energy, give it a purpose. Take that energy and give it a purpose. Because you know what? Life and God will handle the rest. As long as you do what's appropriate, put the mask on, do whatever you got to do, spending 24 hours of energy about whether or not you're going to get it is waste of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Not real. The real thing is that you're alive, get precautions, but give your energy purpose. And as far as the community is concerned, I'm out there. My family says, go out there because you know part of the risk. I just got off being sick. I just got off of Mona. I just got off having a stroke and a heart attack. You're like, what? But I'm going out there anyway. I put my mask on, gloves on. There's certain spots I go over and give free K2 and talk to people. And then I do my therapy thing. And I tell them exactly what I'm saying now. I said, listen, all in good. We should know the information, accept the fact that it's true, serious. At the same time, we can't allow it to be us inside. We have to take it. We have to say, okay, I'm doing the right thing, and then give that energy purpose. That's the way I see life, because I'm going to make it to the next tomorrow. Forget next year. I'm going to take tomorrow. I'm glad I'm above ground today. So I'm giving it purpose. Today, I'm going to go out there and do something, I don't know what, but whatever it is, I'm going to look at this virus in the face and say, not today, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
If
going
the
to do the
time
same
it
thing
does come,
myself.
I'm going
I'm
to
I'm
fight
going
it.
to stand on the terrace and wave to everybody on Southern Boulevard.
I didn't hear that. What was that?
I said I'm going to wave to everybody on Southern Boulevard. I'm going to stand on my terrace and say, "Hi, world."
That's it.
There you go.
That's it. That's it. You know what? The anxiety is real. I'm not saying it is. It's not about whether or not you have the anxiety. It's what you're going to do with it.
Right.
Yeah,
Do you allow it to take you down, or do you take it and give purpose and give you motivation to move on?
yeah. I say that we really have an opportunity to really look at and assess our life and see what's working and see what's not working, and
Okay.
then begin to work on the things that are not working, and begin to the look at and listen for the opportunities that this virus is going to provide for us, because
Right.
it's going to provide
Mhm.
opportunities for business.
Yeah.
It's going to be personal. We're going to be socializing differently. There are going to be lots of things that are going to come out of this, and we want to adapt, and we want to be on the front end looking at how can we take advantage of it,
There's
not
a
like
should
not
do.
like abusive, but from a standpoint of, okay, what's wanted and needed. If we're going in a particular direction,
Mhm.
and I know that that's the direction that most people are going to take, why wouldn't I provide a service that's going to get people to that direction?
So there's
Correct.
one word that we don't use often, and we should only because
Say it
there's
again?
one word that we should use. We don't use it often because our pride and ego gets in the way, and that is humble.
Yes.
In order for us to listen to everything you said, we have to humble ourselves, and this is a humbling situation.
Yes, it
We're
is.
just
Right.
humans at the very best, and we need to know that we're imperfect and that this is allowing us to look at our perfections and the decision making and see what else. Unfortunately, it took this to allow us to see ourselves and renew the way you said it.
Slow down and meditate and do all the spiritual practices that you've been thinking about, that you've been putting off. Let's get some exercise in.
But one of the
All those things.
right. But one of the things is your attitude. And since this whole coronavirus started, I've been getting a lot of calls from people. And for some of the people that have been calling me, they were workers when 9/11 happened. I was in business when 9/11 happened, and I was explaining to them, if I recovered from 9/11, we can recover from this too. It's your whole attitude. You have to, like the song says, the sun will come out tomorrow.
Yes.
It will come out. But if your attitude is not in the right place, you will be underneath that dark cloud forever, maybe till the rest of your life. Like Glenn said, there are a lot of opportunities out here. If you drop your anxiety, look at what's out here, you will see the money. You will see it. Mr. Henry, money is right around the corner, because once everything is lifted, people will want to celebrate. And what you need to do is position yourself now to meet what? The demand. Same thing with my industry. I know my phone is going to be ringing off the hook.
Hey.
So right now, I'm planning now. Last night, I went to bed after 5 this morning. I was email, I was texting, I was doing this, I was doing that, because I'm excited. You know, I was telling Reed this afternoon while we were on the phone, I got a phone call. My brother-in-law's partner died. Yeah. Okay? He died.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, yeah. And now, you know, I have to, I have to deal with my brother-in-law in this situation. But it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
I was telling my
I'm excited. I'm excited because when everything is lifted, people are going to want to celebrate. How many baby showers have been postponed? How many birthday parties? How many this? How many that? Take an account of that, Mr. Henry. Start preparing. That's the only thing I've been telling everybody.
How many babies been made?
And oh yes, and there's going to be a whole lot of Scotch and Charmin's born in the next 9 months. And I'm on it.
I'm a party giver, and I'm already playing 6 cards. I said I'm gonna give a party every 3 months.
That's right. Absolutely.
I know how to throw a gig, so and somehow, some way, we'll just keep. Let's just enjoy the time, deal with the stress. Your stress is real, Tiffany. Make no bones about it. It's not about how real it is; it's what you're going to do with it.
To do with it, exactly.
Embrace it.
Yes, you're right.
Energy and embrace it. You know, you got children. You're young. You say, "Oh my God," take it and embrace it. And trust me, humble yourself. And you're going to go far. You'll reach your potential.
You'll be all right, Tiffany. You'll be all right.
We're rooting for you.
You got good gene pool.
I'm going to name a cake after you.
Yes.
I would
name a cake out of me after me.
There you go.
I would like to thank everybody for joining in on this conversation. Is there any more last comments that anybody would like to say at this point?
Yes. What I want to say is Queens Chronicle, as soon as we're able to, we will be going back to doing our networking events. Most of them are free. Mercedes has been our designer from the beginning, and we are so pleased to have her.
Thank you.
Always. Glenn, I know we did a few together, the Black History Month event at Starbucks, Sutton Boulevard. People are still talking about it. I'm psyched and excited to move forward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give my personal number out. If anybody needs to talk, if anybody wants to know how can they be a part of the next networking event when we're allowed to, please call me. It's 718-669-0628.
Great.
718-669-0628. And I just want to thank Lady Pauline for allowing us to be on the show.
And also, thank you
more.
very much for the ad. It was very nice, and I love this joint business that we're doing together, Our World and the Queen's Chronicle, and hopefully it will continue. Right, Glenn?
Oh, yes. The next event, you mentioned that you're going to do a show.
Yes,
and
I
come.
am.
So that would be awesome.
Yes, and I just would like to remind the audience that next week we're going to have the Chocolate Loft on, and they're on Southern Boulevard, and I'm hopefully going to be interviewing Erica Ford from Life Camp. I Love My Life Center should be on for next week, and there are also a local businesses that are in the area. So again, thank you to our advertisers, and keep listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, and also follow us on our Instagram page and Facebook and Apple TV. Yeah,
Roku.
and Roku. You're absolutely right. Please, and don't forget, we are heard on our station, which is our Power One, and that's our YouTube. So, you can listen to us there, and you can also follow us on, as I said, Spotify and iHeartRadio. And please don't forget to also listen to us on Caribbean Buzz Live TV and radio. Okay, Glenn, it's
Great.
great to have you as my host. As usual, every week you always have the greatest of information to give out to the community, and let's do this again.
Okay,
All right,
Thank
absolutely.
you, Glenn. Glenn, thank you, Miss Pauline,
you're
You're
Miss
welcome.
Swift,
All
and
Thank
right,
thank
you
you
all.
everyone for.
thank you
Thank you for
all.
your wise
You're
advice to
welcome.
me. Thank you
And
for the advice.
yeah,
I
Thank
do
you, and
appreciate it.
everybody stay safe.
yeah.
Hi, this is Ree from Queens Chronicle newspaper. I am sending this message to wish everybody well at this time. Easter and Passover is coming, and I want us all to try to celebrate at home and reach out via email, phone calls to our family and friends. If you can, going out, please be safe and shop small business. They have been in the community, some of them for many, many years. They watched your children grow. They know your names. Please shop small business. There's so many still open for restaurants, pharmacies, for your essential needs. I wish again everyone well, and if you need information or if you just want to talk, please call me at 718-669-0628. That is 718-669-0628. Thank you.